The Baltimore Orioles are what I think many thought the Blue Jays were supposed to be. And what I mean by that is, of course, when they brought up guys like Vladdy Jr., Bo Bichette, Cavan Biggio, and not just those guys, but then you made all these acquisitions. You brought in George Springer. You brought in Matt Chapman, who's no longer there. Now you have Justin Turner, Kevin Gausman. Like, they've actually tried, but for some reason, it's just not working for them.
It's not working because they're not meant to win. They're not. You look at these guys and it's like they're front runner dudes. How many times have you watched the Blue Jays late in the season and they're blowing 8-9 run leads? They're not into the game. You know what I watched this weekend, and this is what brought me to this conclusion. How many times can we watch the pitching be subpar and them throw the ball all over the field? And here's the other one. If they don't hit a home runs, they probably won't win many games. That's the thing, right? It's not like the offense is sound enough where if something were to happen where you stopped hitting homers, you can win games in other ways. They right now are a literally one-trick pony. They're not that good defensively because I don't believe that Bo Bichette is the shortstop. I don't see what everybody else sees. I don't like the range. His arm is below average.
Yeah, defensively, I do agree with you. His bat is definitely a lot better than what
you know
he
what
is
I'm
defensively.
saying? And I'm at the point right now where they themselves, whether it's in their own heads, right? Because you know how good they expect themselves to be. You know the expectations, especially in Canada, where you're playing for forget playing for a city. They're playing for an entire country. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's a different level of pressure, although they're much nicer in Canada than we are in New York.
That's true. I think any place that is in New York, people just have more manners and more respectful.
I mean,
here in New York, you can't even greet somebody in the morning. They'll look at you like you did something wrong.
You know what I mean? But I wouldn't say it. I wouldn't say that for Philadelphia after the weekend they had this weekend. I thought they were going to burn down Citizens Bank, brother. I was like, hold on.
Right.
I'm
going to say this right now. I know it's very early, but since we're talking about the Blue Jays, if I'm them, I'll start doing something by the deadline. And the reason why I say that is because they're not a playoff team to me. I mean, let's go through the teams right now. The Baltimore Orioles, and the New York Yankees in your division alone. Like the Blue Jays at that point, you're fighting for third place in that division.
And I don't think that I don't even think it's a toss-up whether they're better than Tampa now.
Exactly. So you might be the fourth place team, right?
You know what I'm saying?
Then you have the teams in the American League West who, you know, at least one or two of those teams are going to get wild card spots. You got the Rangers, the Astros, and the Mariners fighting.
Right.
The Blue Jays, they just don't fit for me. They just don't. They obviously are not as good as the list of names that they have on their roster.
How long can we live off potential before we start to see some actual results, right? And that's the thing that I come back to. Is like, we know how good you want to be, but action's got to speak at this point.
Right.
Because how long can we keep waiting on, if this comes together, if this comes together, if it ain't come together by now, the pieces don't fit.
Mm-hmm.
If it ain't all the way right now, how long do you wait before it's like, I don't know. And I don't know how long of a leash Frost Askins have, the general manager. I don't know how long of a leash Mark Shapiro has, the president. I don't know how long. You just spent $300 million renovating the Rogers Center. You got to see some bang for your buck for those renovations. Like, you struck out on Ohtani. You didn't get it. You didn't trade for Soto like you wanted to. You didn't even land Cody Bellinger like you thought you were going to.
Right.
At some point, you have to look at it and go, maybe this just ain't it.
I think you and I are literally seeing eye to eye in this case.
I'm going to tell you this because you remember, like, I told you this off mic like a year ago. Yeah. Vladdy got to go. What?
That's true. Yeah, you did.
Vladdy got to go. A year ago, I was the one, I blow the whole thing up. What you mean? Why? Because you can look at a team mentally and know they're just not there.